Hi, I'm going to attempt to show you how I got this working. This is going to be really rough, so I apologize because there are so many steps and connections that I don't really recall every single one of them, but I'm going to try and just throw this out there in case somebody's really interested and wants to try to get started on it themselves. What I wanted to do here is overcome the problem where you can't use Rozeta plugins to drive external devices from within BeatMaker. There's a problem. The update on the last Rozeta release broke the connections, MIDI timing connections and communications. And I really wanted to use that, so I thought, well, maybe I could slave AUM somehow with BeatMaker. And I have done this. I haven't managed to get AUM to take start-stop commands, so I was using SideCar for that, but I'm going to leave that out of the equation for now. For now, you just have to manually start the two, and Ableton Link keeps them timed. Sometimes the timing may drift slightly, like probably 15 or 20 milliseconds, I guess, but it usually stays fairly tight. But there's no song position pointer, there's no start-stop command from either one to the other. Okay, so anyway, we've got bank A1 here. Let's have a look at the MIDI setup on that. I've had to put MIDI input to ports to all because AUM does not show here. And if you take it out of all, it fails. So I don't know what it's seeing. It's not network session, and it's obviously not bias effects, but I have to put all and it works. That's all I can tell you. The channel is 10 because, and I believe that's because I'm using Rozeta Rhythm, and that's set to 10. And so you access that from up here. There are so many places in BeatMaker to access MIDI setup that it gets a little daunting. So I don't know if these two are related, but they're the same. I've set them the same. I'm not going to mess with it right now to experiment. And of course, there's also this. You go down here, MIDI setup. Apparently, I have nothing here, so I don't know. I guess nothing is necessary because I just tested this and it works. So anyway, that's cycling through all the MIDI areas within the operational side of this. The setup side, you look at MIDI devices. You also only see AUM listed as an output device, and I have to tell you right now, I'm a little confused because I don't know if that means it's receiving an output or we're receiving the output from it. But at any rate, it's selected. And I have Drum Perfect, which is what I'm trying to slave, also selected. I don't really know if Drum Perfect for Audio Bus MIDI Destination Endpoint for Peers is necessary, but I'm not going to mess with it because it's on. And as you can see, the input devices are selected: BeatMaker 3 and Network Session. Okay, I think that's about it in BeatMaker. So now, if we go to AUM, inside AUM, of course I have Rhythm set up, and I have Drum Perfect, which is it's my drum machine that I was wanting to use, and that is going to BeatMaker, as you see that down there at the bottom. The connections are, I'm going to try to show you this. Now see, I did this in a desperate attempt to get this to work, and it works, and I don't know how many of these I could take out and still have it work, so I just left them engaged. You can experiment with this. And the same thing over here, it matches here. Of course, the flow, Rhythm is driving Drum Perfect See, this gets a little interesting too, because I've got network session and BeatMaker selected as inputs, but not Rozeta, because those Rozeta connections don't work in this configuration. They're not active. So, if you're not confused yet, I'll just continue anyway. Back, AUM controller in there. It's summed and then sent to BeatMaker, as you can see at the channel 3 output. Let's see. Oh, I should show you the MIDI patch, the MIDI routing. This is how that looks. I'll just leave it up for you. Hopefully you can get a look at it. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. Like I said, I don't know if they're all necessary, but I had to do this. When I did it, it worked, and that's the way I've left it. I'm going to experiment with trying to clean this up more when I have a little more time. But I thought I'd throw this out there in case people were wanting to get on this themselves. You could probably get a lot further with it yourself. MIDI control, that's going to be an issue with SideCar. So anyway, what happens now at this stage is I can start this. Now there's nothing in Rozeta, so let's put a program in Rozeta. Or is there? Oh, yes there is. Okay, and why don't I hear that? I don't hear that because that's all the way down. And we can start BeatMaker from here. As you can see, it's running. And then if we go to BeatMaker and we go look at, you can see that the signal, the MIDI signal is being received in bank A1. And then if we look at the mixer, you can see it's being received in bank A1. So this is actually here. Now this is the MIDI channel. AUM port 1 is the MIDI channel. Now let's look at this is another place to do the MIDI setup. MIDI input, ports all just because. Channel 10, of course, to listen to Rozeta. Now here's the issue. I want to record MIDI, and I may want to record the actual audio of the drums. So what I did was I opened up an audio track right next to it, right here. And the input port is AUM port 1, which is of course the same port that's up here. So now, if I monitor this, I can even mute this, and I can record the audio track. And like I said, unfortunately I can't stop AUM from within BeatMaker. But like I said, I'm working on a SideCar setup that'll let me do that. I'll show you SideCar briefly. Unfortunately, and I talked to the developer, he's working on a way to share SideCar setups. So that'll be nice. I find this to be handy. My idea here is to try to consolidate my workflow and to get things working together without having to double tap and slide and swipe and load and reload and all this business. I want the stuff to work. That's kind of the point. So anyway, what we can do in SideCar, I think I have it set up. Okay, wait a minute. That's supposed to be, well, if you've done this before, you understand how to do this, but if not, I'll just show you briefly. Go to the configurations and MIDI bindings. Go all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see play, pause, stop, record, backward, forward. Select the action that you want to control. So I want to do transport play. And if you've got SideCar, you're going to configure pads. I'm going to have that stay at C0. It's a note, not a program change, not a continuous controller, and not a chord, just a note. It's not necessary to toggle it. You can name it up here. I don't know why it has to say that, but anyway, play. I'm going to call it play pause. I think I set this up for something else at some point. So we'll do that. Got to take it out of configure, hit this, it goes to there. Now, there we go. And as I said, it's not going to start. It's not going to start AUM because I can't get the two to talk as far as a start-stop command. But what you can do is select another page, go to AUM, go to MIDI control, go to play. Okay, that's going to be on channel 2. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but if you can follow along, maybe you can take a look later or something. Configure pads. So we want this to be on channel 2. You configure the channel here and configure MIDI. We're going to go to AUM, not BeatMaker. We're going to change this to channel 2. You just long press channel 2. We're going to configure this as a note, C1, that's fine. Take this out of configure, go back to AUM. Now, learn. I had a problem with this. Let's see, learn. Did it learn? It did, and there you go. Now we can name this. Configure pads. So I don't get confused. So now I have two places where I can save and start. Start and stop. This would be BeatMaker. As you can see, BeatMaker's timer at the bottom is moving. I can stop it. It stopped. I can start it again. Also, I can go into record, fast forward. I can loop it, stop, beginning. So I hope this might be interesting to somebody. It's a little convoluted, but until we hear from one or both of the developers, this is the only way to do this that I know of. Maybe somebody else has a better way. So that's that. I hope it helps. And if you have an easier way, gosh, I would sure like to know, because I don't really want to have to do this on all my different devices. But it's okay. And thanks for watching.